Good morning, my Facebook family. It is almost 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm tired. It was a long election day yesterday. Yesterday, August 14th, 2018, was the primaries to vote for the candidate that will run in the general elections on November 6th. So save the date, November 6th. It's going to be voting time again. But as much as I looked at all the smiling faces of the candidates who won, their supporters who celebrated, um, listening to the candidates that lost their primary bid and who conceded and congratulated their opponents. There was still something that just troubled me about where we have come in politics, and that is protecting children. Moving away from the sound bites of protecting children and actually protecting children, ensuring children have access, that every child has access to safe, high quality learning environments, whatever that may look like. And so I noticed that when it came to education, that politicians steered away from that, right? They don't want to make their base upset. They want their campaign donations. They want their support. I get it. I've never run for public office. I've seen the behind the scene things, and it's very troubling. I listened to candidates, all candidates from all parties, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, because I want to be an informed voter, not just a voter voting down party lines because someone tells me I must vote row A. I must vote row B. We as voters need to learn who is in row A and why do you support them? Who is in row B and why do you support them? And to be frank, most, most of the candidates did not really reference children. They'll make sure the adults, because adults vote, so they're pandering. I get it. They're catering to the adults because they vote. But the adults, like parents like me, like the parents I met over the campaign trail, vote for their children on behalf of their children. When I hear about school safety, all I hear about is gun violence. But for black and brown children and poor children in Connecticut public schools, we got much bigger issues. In addition to gun violence, but the shootings aren't happening every day, thank God. But the suspensions, the disproportionate suspensions and expulsions are. The belief gaps that deny black and brown children a quality education because some of the educators don't believe in a child of color's ability. Well, very specifically, black children and Latino children. And I know we don't want to say those things, but if you are running for office, be true to the office. I've seen, um, I watch the Democrats, and they're like, this is a blue state. Oh, the Democrats walk on water. Well, guess what? The disproportionate suspensions and expulsions happened under Democratic leadership. So let us not be lulled into thinking this is about party, that we need to be voting for party. We need to be voting for quality, capable, committed, willing to learn candidates, those who want to work with the people, for the people, so we can protect our children. We are about to send our children back to school. And here's the interesting part. We're buying the book backs and book back giveaways, curly curls, pigtails, ties and all the things that dressing up our little Johnny and Susie. But if your child was bullied last year, what makes you think things are going to be different 2 months later from a summer vacation? What has changed? What have you, as a parent, checked into the school to see what is different to make sure your child is safe? Because the candidates sure weren't talking about that. None of them. They might have spoke, "We love the children, let's take a picture for the photo op," but I'm disappointed in just about everyone because no one wants to talk about children because it's not politically correct during election year. But this primaries is right around the time we are sending children back to school. And it was the prime time to talk about children. In addition to that, that's on us as the voters. Because who talked to them about children? The one event or the events that I hold as a mom and as a founder of a parent advocacy group, I always try to include children. Always. Like 99.9 try to include them. Because they're the actual consumers of education. They sit in these classrooms, whether they're quality classrooms or bad classrooms or terrible classrooms or unsafe classrooms, for whatever the reason. They're the direct people that are impacted. And yet they were like the least on the campaign trail. Unaffiliated voters. I'm an unaffiliated voter, and I was told I would have to join a party to vote. No. I'll help get the vote out, and I'll vote when I can, which is the November 6th general elections, which is a very unjust law or policy because why should you be able to benefit from the hundreds of thousands of independent voters in Connecticut, their tax base, to pay for those election celebrations, but you couldn't vote in the primary? Now you paid for all that celebration, that wine, the signs, everything. If you are unaffiliated independent voter in Connecticut, you paid for all the celebrations, but you couldn't vote unless you joined the party. And that's just a shame. So we need open primaries. So as I close, I want to say with all the celebrations that happened on August 14th, our children, many of our children, are still going back to unsafe schools. Schools that don't have the resources or don't have the appropriate staff or the adults just don't care about safety. And that's the truth. Because if we did, we would be holding all of ourselves accountable. Parents, elected officials, people hired, cafeteria workers, janitors, educators, principals, parents, students, all of us as a shared responsibility to keep kids safe. And you barely heard that on the campaign trail. So, yes, I filmed. Yes, I took people to the polls. But until we have open primaries, then Connecticut is a part of the problems because we are disenfranchising taxpayers, active voters from voting in every aspect of civic engagement, and that is the right to vote. And you're not going to have me join some kind of party when I know the disparate treatment of black and brown children are happening under the watch of elected officials in Connecticut. Children are being sexually assaulted, abused in schools. And we're about to send them back there with limited checks and balance. So do not be lulled by all the celebrations. If you're going to vote, be an informed voter. Hold people accountable to the roles that they play. Encourage those running for office to mean what they say and say what they mean. But first and foremost, please protect children. Because if we don't, who will? Real talk. If we don't, who will? So that is my reflections of yesterday's elections. They were historical wins, like Johanna Hayes, a Democrat from the 5th District. She'll be running against Manny Santos, former mayor of Meriden. both people are great people. So the fifth district is in for a tight race. For governor, okay. Uh, Lieutenant Governor, shout out to Susan Bisowitz for her win. She's a great lady. So, um, and there are other um, people that ran. I don't like people who run unopposed because you get complacent. So there are those who ran unopposed. So people are celebrating that. I don't know what you're celebrating. You didn't have to fight for it. Okay, that's what unopposed does. Um, I think the tightest race that that shows people power is the fifth district. That's between Johanna Hayes and Manny Santos. So, um, yes, I'm excited about Johanna Hayes. She'll be the first African American person to go to Congress if elected. Um, and that's not why I supported her when I did. I supported her because she was a mom that cares about children. She was a teacher that cares about children. Um, got concerned with some of her speakers, okay, because they are career politicians. They're the very politicians that are in office while our kids are disproportionately targeted in Connecticut schools. So I'm not jumping on any bandwagons for any career politicians, and I suggest you not do so as well. As a matter of fact, I like one thing that the Republican um, primary winner, I can't say his name, begins with an S, so I won't, but he talks about term limits, which I am so in agreement for. Recalls, referendums to remove elected officials from office who do wrong. I support that because I believe career politicians are hurting us because it doesn't allow uh, more fresh ideas and a younger generation to come to learn politics, to learn government, so that they can lead for the people. So forgive me for this long-winded. They said these things are supposed to be 2 and 3 minutes long. This is more of like a. I got up like 6 o'clock in the morning, or like 5:30. So this is more like just a reflection because as a mom, as much as people cheered, I was saddened because I saw nothing different from 4 years ago, from 2 years ago. I saw nothing different, and to know that we are sending these babies back to school, that some of these schools cannot meet their needs, and they're about to pass laws that penalize black and brown children like never before under the guise of safety. And for the record, school safety is more than guns, okay? Especially for black and brown children. So everyone have a great day. Research the candidates. Just don't fall for the whole okey doke of Democrats versus Republican. America is red, white, and blue, not just red and blue. Have a great day. Bye bye. How do I stop this?